when their guy plays some games. Alright, hi, Weather Guy here. We're getting into part 2 of this investigation on Dryer Road. Hope you're doing great. I am feeling pretty good. We might run into Mr. Holmes soon, hopefully. We'll see. We're revisiting the crime scene after getting a lovely note from Iris. It looks as though the police are still here, carrying on with their investigation. Perfect, so let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. Yes, and let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip Iris gave us for him. Alright, it's time to talk to him? Time to talk to him. Nope, we gotta present him the frickin' thing, huh? Anything else on here? I don't think we actually need to investigate this stuff. Let's just present it. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? Sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk to a pair of foreign gadabouts, that's for sure. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson. What? For me? From her ladyship? Her ladyship? Give that here, at once. Come on, hand it over. That's for me. Huh? Don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? Wow, Iris is popular, apparently. Jeez Louise. What was that coin, exactly? It's a silver crown, obviously, but it's a lot more than that. It's an appearance fee, that's what it is. An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean... That's right, for the adventures of Herlock Sholmes. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me, every time. Yes, of course, I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly. Of course, her using my name without my say-so does make me the butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still. I am sorry, Inspector, that must be difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know then, huh? Sorry? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem. Well, obviously it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know? Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, we'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Ah, the little knife-wielding, mustached Japanese fellow. He lives in a right old hovel. It's just over there. Look. Oh, that's his place. Oh, interesting. With the broken bike. On the first floor of that house on the corner where that wreck of a bicycle's propped up. That is nearby indeed. If I remember rightly, the landlord is a Mr. John Garrideb. Right, well, if you see her again, you make sure you give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it. You tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes. Don't worry, Inspector. Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship. Alright, that's kind of weird. Well, at least he told us what we wanted to know before he left. Yes, so then shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings? Definitely! Hell yeah. Let's get inside there. Bada bing, bada boom. That's a rather typical old brick building, isn't it? Oh my god, I gotta actually say move. Come on, I should just be able to click it. But I guess that is also consistent with what happened on the ship, where you could see a door, but you actually had to say move to get to a different location. That's fine. I totally skipped over a lot of that text there, I just realized. I thought it was all repeated. Let's skim it. Alright, let's see. Yep. Just across. Okay, so it's nothing super important. It's what we know. Alright, so let us move. Boom. Lots of locations this time. Wow, he's got a nice place. Look at this. Look at all these medals and stuff. He was a soldier, maybe, in Japan? I thought he was just a student. This is a lot. This is extra. And there's a fire going. And there's a maid. May I help you? Yes. Would this be the residence of Mr. John Garrideb? Indeed it would, sir. And who, may I say, is calling? My name is Ryu. Mr. Ryu is representing Mr. Saseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here. Ah, I see. That's why all these decorations are here. It's not Natsume's, it's the landlord's. We would very much like to ask him some questions about our client. One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garrideb. Did you see that, Mrs. Sato? That was a real-life English maid. I know, as I understand it, anyone of standing in English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day keeps getting better. Such a fangirl. Certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it? We need only to meet a butler and the experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garrideb will see you now. This way. Oh, this guy is fancy. Ooh, buddy, look at that hairstyle. Let's talk to him. Or should we look across the room first? Maybe look across the room first. There he is in the picture. It's a fancy boy. That's a full-size cannon. What's it doing in here? Oh my, it's real. I thought it might be a replica. That old thing? Bah, that's little more than a toy. Sorry? The army was selling it off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. Jolly useful to have a cannon about the house. Really? It isn't overkill? Be prepared, I always say. You never know what this twisted world is going to throw at you next, boy. Do you think there may be trouble brewing, Mr. Garrideb? Always is. Take Joan here. Never fails to have a clean apron in reserve. Drives them over the barrel, you see. They dry very well in the cannon there, Joan tells me. Which rather proves my point, I feel. It's been reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge cannon looks like it's hanging its head in shame. Alright, let's see what else. His uniform? A uniform looks fairly ancient, doesn't it? Clearly been well looked after, though. That old thing. Not much better than rags, really. Oh? Wore that ceremonial garb at my retirement bash, you know. But I'm not one for dwelling on the past me. Would have gladly thrown it out, but you know how it is. Anyway, doesn't hurt to have the odd piece of memorabilia lying around, does it? Oh, I see. Perhaps we should leave the past in the past. What else we got? Medals? That looks like a Medal of Honor, and it's showcased on a very grand banner. Yes, it's displayed with some pride, I would say, although it bothers me that it's not straight. What? That old thing? Sorry? I should be glad to see the back of it, but the general would turn in his grave if I disposed of it. The wall's the best place for it. Keeps the belly thing out of my way. Oh, it's just been polished to shine by accident, I suppose. There appears to be an inscription on the medal itself. Look. Let me see. It says, "For distinguished participation." Sounds like the kind of honors even I could be in line for. Well, one doesn't like to blow one's own trumpet, but I was given that for my time in the army. Can't measure an officer by the number of medals to his name, of course. Common knowledge in military circles. This guy is so refined. That portrait of Mr. Garrideb is glaring at me, I swear. Have you noticed that all of the little frames contain photographic prints of Mr. Garrideb as well? Yes, and there seems to be a statue of a lion on the mantelpiece as well. Ah, yes. Seems to come back from the local pawnbroker with that little trinket. Seem to come back? What do you mean? The chap who runs the place is a bally wizard. Went in to sell him something and came out with that thing. In point of fact, now I think about it, I rather often find myself leaving the place with something I don't need. The lion ornament certainly does seem surplus to requirements. Sao doesn't pull her punches, or her throats for that matter. Wonder if that pawnbroker's important. If he's that suave and able to talk people into buying things. Look at that enormous screen. It must have been put there deliberately, surely. Yes, it certainly seems like someone's trying to hide something from view. What could be behind it, I wonder? I'm gonna have a very quick look, just a little peek. Maybe let's not, Miss Sato. I think the maid is gonna head us off with a cup of tea. Alright, what else? Chair and table. Oh look! What a wonderful collection of cakes lined up on that gleaming silver cake stand. Lined up? It looks more like someone has half demolished them to me. Afternoon tea is a time of indulgence, you know. It is quite the English way. It is Mr. Garrideb's custom to take 2 cakes with his tea. That sounds delightful. Oh, wait a minute, though. There are at least 10 cakes on this cake stand. Well, naturally, and it would never do to waste the leftovers. So whatever Mr. Garrideb doesn't eat, I say to myself, Joan, you shall have to tidy up. How magnanimous of you. Alright, what else we got? What's all this? Oh, window. We'll look at that in a second. Make sure there's nothing else to the left. Books. Let's look at the books. I notice you have a pile of books here, Mr. Garrideb. Do you enjoy reading? Ever experienced a London winter, boy? The nights are long. No better way to pass the time than in front of the fire. The jolly good book. Oh, there's a copy of Rand's magazine here, I see. No doubt Mr. Garrideb enjoys the adventures of Herlock Sholmes too. Great detective has a great many followers, it would seem. Alright. Let's move to the right, I believe, now. Not much else. Got the table. Window time. This window looks out over Briar Road, where the young woman was attacked. Oh, yes, I can make out the policeman on the far side of the road investigating the crime scene. The glass is rather murky, isn't it? You can't see very clearly. Is this thing open at all, I wonder? I shouldn't underestimate the bitterness of a London winter, sir. Sorry? As soon as you open that window, the tea will freeze in the pot. No Londoner would go opening windows at dusk in the middle of winter, I assure you. It's very unlikely that these two would have seen anything in the incident, then. Alright, what else we got? Smash stuff over here? That's kind of interesting. Look at this crockery on display here. It's rather unusual, isn't it? Oh my, a genuine London dresser. Isn't it delightful? Although the shelves seem to be broken, and the crockery is... Oh dear, it's in pieces. Okay, I have a small theory. Small theory. And the theory is simply that recently the cannon was fired. And that is why we have things crooked on the shelves, things topple over everywhere. All this stuff on the shelf broken, the shelf itself cracked. I believe that the cannon was fired recently for some reason. Although, with that being said, our client, Mr. Natsume, likely would have heard a cannon fire if it happened at the time of the crime, so who knows? It really is. The word cracked wouldn't do that chinaware justice. Ah, I wonder... Perhaps the cannon was fired at it. Oh gosh, man, I'm... Yes, probably something like that, but let's not delve too deeply here. Alright, is that it? Seems to be. Anything with this? Maybe the maid is her own thing? Let's try the maid. No. Good day to you. John Garrideb, at your service. Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryu. He's a defense lawyer. You excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back in the Battle of Maiwand, don't you know? Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service. Handed over the reins to the up-and-comings. He's a retired soldier. Hell of a job, getting up and down stairs now. I can tell you. Don't get out much, as you can imagine. It's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Ryu. Do you think so? Well, Mr. Garrideb, no doubt you are very courageous to earn yourself a medal. Oh, it was nothing. The medal is just a folderol, really. Wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly. Oh, I love the tea pouring thing where she turned. Dash it all, woman, be careful! Oh, dearie me, I do beg your pardon, sir. You jolly nearly took the skin off my hands. I shall be more careful, sir. So anyway, there you have it. Living the quiet life now. Yes, I see. Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right? Yes, well, we would be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us. Only two, please, naturally. Especially if it helps to keep the peace here in Blighty. We've forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. So, this case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Oh, is it? You even had some famous detective poking around, you know? In this whole house, would you believe? Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business. Oh, but you have a copy of Rance magazine here, so... no. Anyway... What was that? Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak. So he's in Saseki-san's room. Herlock Sholmes is here, that's great. It's a bally nuisance, is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. I don't like all this fuss. It's jolly unsettling. About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Garrideb, please do tell us. Yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. Oh, just 1 week? So he moved in very recently then. I have two lodgers most of the time, one on the ground floor and one just below us. First floor room became available a week ago, you see. There'd been Dash it all, Joan, do be careful. Oh my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir. If you want to know my opinion, I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him. I cannot get her voice straight. Holy hell, it's so many different voices. Oh, why? He seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulder. The man had shady written across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. Doesn't fit her face at all, but we're sticking to it. I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later, he's going to do something untoward. And I'm rarely wrong about anything. That was a terror. I'm so sorry. That's almost very annoying. We won't be calling this man as a witness, that's for sure. Hang on a second. Let me read up what she just said. I wasn't even paying attention. She thought he was shady because he was nervous. Okay, that's nothing interesting. Is there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all? Yes, oh yes, indeed there was. She's dying to tell us. Had you noticed anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsume? Oh my word, yes. The man was shadier than an orchard. Could you elaborate? Well, take the man's room. Absolutely stuffed full of books, it is. More than anyone could ever read. And he never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just trots off to that old bookshop every single day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time everyone else in the house has gone to bed, too. Oh, I see. The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed at around 9 each night, but I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. Huh. We should meet the guy on the ground floor. Could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? Oh, I'd understood that neither of the lodges live on this floor of the house, is that correct? That's right, yes. They're both below us, on the first floor and street level. Why is he sweating? That's interesting. Then how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example, even the times they go to bed. Here's something. Oh, here it comes. It's a good bit. Good grief, Joan. Do be careful, woman. Oh my goodness, sir. I'm terribly sorry, sir. Something doesn't add up here. Let's ask more. Seems that the incident took place at around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out of the window at around that time? The window? Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Is there anyone suspicious loitering nearby? 5 o'clock is dinner time in the Garrideb household. So I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan? No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. And with the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road. Oh, I see. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then? Such as... anything at all, even if it seems unrelated. Well... yes, was there something then? Well, it's nothing particularly significant, but around that... oh my god. For the love of God, Joan! Watch what you're doing! Oh, dearie me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir. Do be more careful, woman. Dude, I wonder if Joan did it. She seems to really inconvenience us whenever we're about to learn information. If I may, Mr. Narrow Hollow. Oh, yes? I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all. Oh, really? Mr. Garrideb? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, well, as I was saying, it was just a trifling matter, really. Nothing of... dude, she's like Pavlov dogging him, you know? Where every time he's about to say something important, he gets punished. Don't dash it all. Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened. Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan? That's right, Mr. Garrideb. There. What is the matter with these two? Definitely hiding something. Holy moly. Sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of this incident, but what? Wish I knew. Could you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? It's on the second floor. Why, certainly. Just below us. On the first floor. So, yeah, first floor and then ground floor. Second floor if we're talking about America. Mr. Sholmes is investigating there even as we speak? Yes. Told me Natsu's name had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key. Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services? It's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we also had a look around at Mr. Natsume's room, I mean? Don't see why not. It's just down one flight of stairs. Who knows if we'll find anything that could help us with the case, but we have to try. We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we? Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more. Alright, I think we're done in here. We've done the things that we have wanted to do. We will move on to the next room. Lots of locations this time. Holy moly. Pretty good stuff. What? Just look at this place. And smell it. It's so musty in here. I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. I think I'm gonna go with Joan as the murderer. That's what I'm gonna stick with for now. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life. No, me neither. It's so dark in here too. Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think, yes, once upon a time. For some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsume lives. Looks like a cat in here. By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you? No, that's true, but according to what Mr. Garrideb told us, the great detectives should be around here somewhere investigating. Check my phone real quick. I just heard a bang. Make sure I don't have anything going on. Alright, I think we're okay. Might have been the neighbor. Who knows? Mr. Sholmes might have already left. That's the thing, too. You know? Very real possibility. Let's look at this lucky cat. Oh, look, it's a beckoning cat from home. It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Maneki Neko all the way from Japan with him. I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Ryu. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage? Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same, and this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him. It's not doing a very good job so far, is it? You mustn't say such things. I didn't say a word. Dude, Susato has mind-reading powers. It's actually crazy. Why are my eyes such a giveaway? Alright, what else? Pile of books? Pile of books. Look at all those books stacked up there. They almost reach the ceiling. They're all works of English literature, and they all smell so musty. This volume's of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you? No, what a dreamy idea. Bad dream, maybe. For me, at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again. Ah, so reading it is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us. Certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. Alright. What else we got? Cat. Are we gonna talk to the cat? Oh, stretchies. Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master is away. I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. It was a tricolor cat, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain? Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan. That's made me feel homesick now. Already, we've only been in the country for 2 days. What's interesting is how could he have brought the cat here? Remember, pets are not allowed on the boats. Who knows? Let's look at this under the desk, I guess, or the desk itself. That desk seems to be wedged into a crevice between the mountains of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? Found something. It's a receipt from a second-hand bookshop. Your books. Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it. Look, and in the date of purchase. 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident. Oh, so maybe it occurred while he was on his way back from the bookstore. That would make sense. That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books. Now, this is interesting. The reason that this is interesting is because if we continue with the theory that Joan knows his schedule so well, she would know that he would be walking back from the bookstore at about that time, right? What we have to figure out is how would Joan know that there would also be a potential victim there, right? And what even is the motivation of murdering that lady, or attempting to? Or was it all just to get rid of the tenant because of whatever reason? Secondhand book receipt has been entered into the court record. Alright, let's look at it. Wrong button. Oh, we can't zoom in on it. Customer, picture of Monsieur Lecoq, a meal for Canterbury earnings. Okay, nothing interesting. Alright, anything else? We have books on this side too, that doesn't count. Okay, and then we just have to look at the window. Should you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Although all that remains is a frame around some bricks now. So really it's just a wall then, isn't it? Why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that? I'm afraid I have no idea. Ah! Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on in a fit of whimsy. That's alarmingly feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation in here makes the place very oppressive. It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying. So true. Kind of nightmarish in here. Alright, anything else on this side? I think we just scoot over now. Just double checking. Oh, here's something. What's this? It's locked, too. This appears to be some sort of meter on the wall here. It looks very robust. Wonder what it's for. There's a slot for inserting coins here, too. Ah, I believe that is a gas meter, Mr. Ryu. Gas meter? Yes, it seems there's a piped gas in this district which consumers pay for by putting coins in the meter. So if we were to put a coin in the slot, that would be enough gas to use the lights and the gas fryer for the whole night. So if you're too poor to have a coin, you'd have to spend the night in the dark and freezing cold? That's right, as would a rich man who only carried crisp white notes. London is a scary place. So true. So true indeed. Oh, here's something else. Look at all these balls of paper on the floor. There are notes scrawled all over them, in English. Looks like the waste paper basket is so full they've just fallen out. I think Mr. Natsume must have been deeply immersed in his research, don't you? Or deeply averse to tidying up his mess. I wouldn't like to speculate which is closer to the truth. Alright. So nothing super interesting in here, apart from the receipt. Well, let's look on this side. Speaking of the frickin' devil, dude, look at Mr. Herlock Sholmes just chilling out reading. Time to talk to him. Oh, buddy. Ah, look, Mr. Ryu! It's our buddy. Aha, there he is. Where did he appear from? He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope you won't mind if we disturb him. We're gonna have to. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, you two, good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Burya. Yes, of course, the Burya. And let me see, what happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Asogi. He died, tragically. But you were a great help to us. Ah, yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asogi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it? Oh, well, you seem to remember something of it at least. What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr. Oh, no, my dear madam, hold your tongue. I pride myself in my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo. And Mr. Sasato. Close, you got him backwards. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. I lose the first round. Fun guy. Now I guess it's time to learn what he knows about the case, huh? In truth, I had hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me on the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 13 minutes. So they apprehended Sosesuke in that short an amount of time? I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and can distend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom, you know, from an adventure entitled Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately my associate pins them beautifully. Means Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned. Goodness, what an earnest expression! My dear madame, I should be only too pleased, and this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. Fantastic. Let's talk to our buddy. We know this has to be the lodgings of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Sasuke Natsume. Seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes. The stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume, yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines. But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? I'm sorry, Miss Sasato, but I have not the slightest idea what you mean. What? Can't believe he was looking Sasato squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you I am not merely feigning ignorance. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh, how? I assure you I have no recollection of accusing your stooped compatriot of crime. That doesn't make sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. Ah, a man seen fleeing. There were a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there's a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit, then? That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in bibliophily. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no. Oh dear. Alright, let's talk about the landlord, Mr. Garrideb. Tell me, have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garrideb, a retired military man. It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services. It was the first time I've ever met a maid from the great British institution that is service. Good joke. I like that. Ha ha ha. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid. Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer. And so conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standings? Sorry? But simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary. As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is on the first importance. I had no idea. And it is for precisely that reason that I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically in the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garrideb. Oh? Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. Alright, let's see what we got next. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you any man whose lot is to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody, sooner or later. Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one. But sooner or later, as I said. I don't believe that's the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. Man, this must be actually pretty important. They keep harping on this brick window thing. It's been completely blocked with bricks. I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Window tax? What is that? Surely not a tax on windows. Precisely that. Oh my goodness. That's terrible. Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means having inherited a sizable and costly family home perhaps rapidly closed windows up, while the rich opened windows here, there, and everywhere, in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light. Indeed, disease was rife as a result, so some 40 years ago or thereabouts the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging, and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price. Because the room is so awful, I should think. Apparently, Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Oh, that was Ryu's voice, sorry. That was supposed to be his voice. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, that is of little relevance here, a matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? Curious now. Maybe they needed someone to paint... Well, I don't know. This is tough. Because... So, if he's only lived here a week, right? If our client... I don't think that's quite enough time for someone like Joan to firmly establish a timeline on when he comes home every day, because it's just a few days of reference, you know? And at the same time, I'm curious about why the rent is so low. Did they want someone to move in here who they would frame for a murder? And if that's the case, then it's not about the victim. It's not about the person being framed. That's not what matters. What matters is the person being murdered. That's interesting. Or attempted murdered, rather. Interesting. Or maybe they want a murderer to live here so they can lower the cost of their home. No, you would want the opposite, wouldn't you? Maybe to lower the property taxes, but you don't plan on selling, that sort of thing. I doubt they would do that. Anyway. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Ryu. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remember that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your service in this very matter, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? Not sure. Not sure? Or on what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well, then I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too. Thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? Trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? Oh, no. My dear fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come here to investigate? Yes, that was indeed my initial intention, but there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. He's not investigating at all. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are 2 facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. And one more thing. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us. I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Garrideb is. Mr. Sholmes said as much before, actually, didn't he? We thought so as well. Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays in my mind in relation to this case. Mr. Ryu, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probe a little deeper into Mr. Garrideb's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Ryu. He's lovely. I like Herlock Sholmes. He's great. A busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. So next, I think we investigate more of the landlord. But I think we're actually at a good stopping spot today. And next time, we're going to give a more thorough investigation to the lovely landlord and his suspicious maid. And we'll see what's going on there. But yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are amazing. Um, Hope you're having a great holiday. Make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure you take care of others. I'll see you next time. Peace out.